ask you for 2 weeks. Don't you think that the Hulk Hogan death isn't that like a part of an era for people our age where I'm sure you or somebody you knew got in trouble for wrestling, emulating wrestling moves you saw in the 80s when you were 6, 7 years old, or even got hurt? My uncle broke my arm because I was begging him to body slam me. I was a young kid, and you emulate guys like that. When he died, it was kind of almost like an end of an era. Because remember, they went national just a few years into the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, when Vince McMahon took over. Remember, it was regional wrestling before that, so really taken off. What's your thoughts about that era, and of course, just the death of Hulk Hogan, since we've not been able to talk about that?
Yeah, so I grew up in Europe, and when I got into,
In the military, wasn't he?
yeah, when I got into the States in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, they had like the TBS and all those channels that cable that they didn't have available in Europe. Wrestling would come on Saturday mornings, and it was different. It was you know we I think everybody watched it because you only had a couple channels anyway, and if you were up in the morning, and you would watch it after Saturday cartoons.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, it's an end of an era, and also just it's an eye awakening experience because people our age, we're just starting to see our
Yeah.
idols slowly, we're
Did
losing our.
you go to it at any point when you were just a little kid?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had a little brother, and I messed around with him and we did silly things, and you jump off the couch, like you were jumping off the top of the rope and stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
so, but I want to say this about the man. He did wrestling what Michael Jordan did to basketball.
Yeah, for the NBA, didn't he?
Yeah, so he and even when Vince McMahon was mad at him and kicked him off,
Yeah.
and he went to the other federation, the other wrestling organization, like the same thing. The thing is, a guy like him, he brought it 100%, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a back end too, he had the fan base, but it was just something different, from a kid that's Hispanic, first generation American, to see this kind of new, different type of entertainment, sports entertainment. It was just different. It was a slice of pie that you wasn't expecting for dessert,
Yeah.
and it's good old American, part of American culture, and like it's tough, man, because like reality's set in. We're older. Anything can happen to us at any moment. We're not
Yeah.
guaranteed tomorrow, and it's part of history too. So and one of the things that was hard for me to hear is that as old as he was getting, he was still involved in wrestling and trying to do new things, because he still didn't think that what Vince McMahon has, what they're doing now, is the way wrestling should do things, and he didn't get that opportunity to start that different venture that he had going on. So, he's what wrestling, what entertainment wrestling is about. So,
I think there's no Rock. I don't think Rock gets to that stardom without a Hulk. It's like Hogan laid the groundwork for
right,
that.
right.
When he
Yeah,
played in Rocky 2, nobody thought that would work, but it did. You
he did.
know?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like in fact, when I saw Rocky 2, I didn't know he was a wrestler. I thought he was a boxer. So when I came from Europe and I saw him, I was like, why does he keep picking people up? Why are they slamming each other? Why are they not boxing? They're in a ring and they're not boxing. So all those things were new to me. And
Yeah.
he did his due diligence. He did his work, right. As it kind of sucks that he has family issues, but everybody does. But he was always on camera, and he
Right.
always mentioned too that if people called him Hulk, he stayed in character, and if people called him Terry, he knew he could relax and be friends with people. And I think that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty awesome thing to do, because if somebody knows you for being famous and for your character, he made them feel like that they were part of what he was about, and that's important if you're if you're a man of the people, right? He was a man of the people. So
I
yeah,
think he was. Yeah.
you know, it was pretty tough to hear. The younger people will never know or get to see what it was really like. What, you know, they're fans and they can watch YouTube, but you got to be there, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll talk about these WrestleManias getting all filled up and the fan base, and I've talked to people that went to WrestleMania, and it's just like, I don't know, they talk about it as if they visit another country, and it's remarkable, like the event, how big it can get. And you know, Hulk Hogan was part of that, you know, and it's a sad time, but it's it's a good thing that he was able to do what he did for wrestling. So you know,
yeah,
he's definitely going to be missed for sure.
Definitely be missed. Well said, brother. You know, I've been wanting to get your opinion for weeks on that. I bet you're thinking, why does he keep texting me thoughts on Hulk Hogan and never asked about thoughts on Hulk Hogan?
And the worst part is, you're making me feel bad, man, because I'm like, oh man, I feel bad for old Terry. You know, like I know him, right? Like I just shake my head, like, oh, I feel bad.
You know the guy, you know.
But like, that's the thing I'm saying, is like everybody knows or knew who he was, who was in our age group and has caught wrestling.
Yeah.
Even a little piece of it, you know, him against Andre Giant, him against Warrior, him against Ric Flair. Like, you've caught him. If you're in our age bracket, you have caught him in one of those like big matches, like at least one, and you was interested in at least one of those. So you know, I don't know, what's your favorite matchup that you got to catch, like either live or on TV?
For some reason, I didn't. My step grandmother, Helen, of course, my mom knows, she was like a grandmother to me, and she would actually order like WrestleMania. You know, she would actually order that stuff in the 80s, and somehow I did not get a chance to see Hogan and Andre the Giant live. But my mom, a few years later, rented it on VHS, and I watched Andre the Giant and Hogan, and it was probably my favorite one watching growing up. You know, I just think about like the kids how many kids got in trouble, how many emergency rooms did mom had to take sons to for breaking their arms, or like you said, jumping off the top rope, getting hurt, or just getting in trouble for horseplaying with your friends in the backyard or in your room, like a sleepover.
Robert, people still do it. Look at the Buffalo. Look at the Mafia.
Yeah.
They still throwing themselves on